are getting ripped off and screwed over in various ways. And so if we can work out what those things that we agree are on, that's a good starting point.
And on the idea of there are two competing priorities for, you say misinformation, but if you teach people critical thinking and problem solving, they should be able to, and then if you are adults, people can think and then say, oh, this is not adding up right.
Exactly.
So the competing two priorities is how far do you stop the misinformation, and then how much do you allow freedom of speech?
See, I don't believe in censorship at all. I don't think we should be. I'm fairly hard line on freedom of speech. I think you should be able to say what you want.
You're sounding American. I'm a freedom of speech absolutist.
Well, I think freedom of speech is important, but I think also, just because you can say something doesn't mean you deserve to be heard.
Yeah.
We all have a right to say something, doesn't mean that we all have a right to be heard. And the more of us who have critical thinking, the more we can sort that out for ourselves.
And critical thinking comes from good schooling, good education.
Critical thinking comes from good schooling and good education, and comes, I think, as well from good community in life and mixing with people of different viewpoints, different ages, different backgrounds, problem solving. Yeah, I think that, yes, education is very important there, but so I think is strong communities. I think that those are also really important. People are so alienated now. People sit in their rooms, they scroll on their phone, they don't meet people who are older than them or who are younger than them. They don't meet people from different backgrounds. I mean, they still do, but maybe less than they once did. And that to me is a real worry. We shouldn't be divided up into these little bubbles. We should be speaking to each other in community, and that will help us all be more critically minded.
How might we bring people on the extreme end of the spectrum who think politically from a policy point of view very different things, to bring them on a platform to talk to each other rather than completely staying within your own echo chamber, whether you're on the left or the right, wherever you sit. The critical thing is to communicate and should be able to understand each other where they're coming from.
Yeah.
How might we achieve that? Because the echo chambers are the echo chambers in the information age right now, and then people might get into the funnel of through their own social media and through all that what news they get. So how might we create those platforms so that people can understand each other more or share their views openly?
I think part of it is getting into real life a bit more rather than just learning things online. It's actually talking to people is one, creating those opportunities. I think another is looking at the things that we agree on, which is one of the reasons that the state capture, the oil and gas stuff is interesting to me. Because I think no matter whether you're far left, far right, or somewhere in the middle, people don't like getting ripped off. So I think finding those issues that we agree on can be a really important thing. And I think a lot of the time what you're going to find is actually that, there's this very small group of wealthy and powerful people who benefit from the way society is right now. But then the rest of us, left, right, in between, are getting ripped off and screwed over in various ways. And so if we can work out what those things that we agree are on, that's a good starting point. And then we can be open to having the debates on the things that we don't agree on. I think a good debate is healthy and good. I think that we shouldn't be putting certain topics or stuff out of the picture or as taboo. But also I think we shouldn't let ourselves get too distracted by culture war issues, I guess. Part of the reason that those issues exist is to distract us. The powerful big interests that I'm talking about, they want us fighting over culture war issues rather than looking at what's really going on.
In the upcoming federal election, which is not that far, whether end of April or early May, what are the things you think are critical to be talked about or to be picked up by both and the independents? Because there are quite a few independents coming now for the federal election. So what do you see that landscape evolving?
I mean, I think that the things that independents or any politicians should be looking at and talking about are the things that people care about. And that is things like, the cost of living is a huge one. And the issues I talk about in terms of gas exports connects with that, because those the way that industry is prioritised over ordinary people creates cost of living pressures. Housing, property developers are another group that I kind of want to begin to focus on a bit more in Big State, because I think that property developers have a similar type of influence, shall we say, over our government. I think that health and education are important to people, so that's what we should be looking at. I think that you need to look at what are the things that we all care about. We all want the right thing for our children. We all want the right thing for our parents. We all want the right thing for our families. We all want a sense of fairness. I think that's a good kind of fairly universal value, is that people like things to be fair. And I think things in Australia right now are not fair, in terms of gas exports, in terms of the supermarket duopoly, in terms of the gambling industry, in terms of property developers, in terms of some of the rules around investment properties. I think that there's a lot of things where it's just simply not fair, and it doesn't take much to look at that and understand that.